What's up, guys? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of our videos. Also, make sure you follow us all over social media so you don't miss any of our content or show announcements. I thought the Pacers just completely caught the Cavs off guard today. The Pacers offense is built around the ability of all five players on the floor to be able to both score and play make out of every spot, right? So like knock down, catch and shoot threes, but also to hit off the dribble threes out of combinations. You'll see Siakam and Turner even hit the occasional off the dribble three, right? All five guys can score in the mid range. All five guys can score at the rim. All five guys can pass and play make out of any of those spots, right? None of the guys are super high-level offensive players, but they all can be super effective if they have an advantage, meaning a defender running at them versus sitting stationary in front of them. And Tyrese Haliburton is the most relentless advantage hunter I have ever seen. If you turn your head and a guy relocates or cuts behind you, Tyrese is going to hit him every single time. You sink too far into nail help off the top of the wing, like he's going to throw that swing pass and burn you every single time. You get caught with a foot in the paint on the weak side, he's going to burn you with that skip pass every single time. And I thought the Cavs came out the gates today super undisciplined and unfocused in their off-ball defense. Early in the game was a lot of Max Strus and Jared Allen. Those are the two guys that were consistently getting burned, just getting caught sinking into the lane and help, or just not paying attention as their man is relocating or cutting around them. DeAndre Hunter, when he was in the game, he was brutal. I counted about a half dozen different mistakes that he made that directly led to good opportunities for the Pacers. Really, the Pacers offense operated at peak efficiency all night. Here's some crazy stats for you. They generated 17 unguarded catch and shoot threes compared to just 10 for Cleveland. They got better looks. They had a 117 offensive rating in the half court. That's insane. 97 for Cleveland in this game. 27 spot up opportunities for Indiana that they converted at a rate of 1.56 points per possession. They got over 1.3 points per jump shot overall. They shot extremely well. All their play types worked. They had a 117 offensive rating on post-ups, including passes, a 136 offensive rating on pick and rolls, including passes, a 111 offensive rating on isolations, including passes. They just picked the Cavs apart tonight. And then in crunch time, like Donovan Mitchell goes on a run in that third quarter, gets downhill a bunch. It turns into a back and forth game in the fourth quarter. And in crunch time, Indiana was able to take control again. And it came down to Tyrese Haliburton beating Jared Allen in switches. We talked a lot about this in the series preview. Inevitably, as things grind down, especially late in games, Cleveland does a lot of switching with their bigs in general, but they did run a good amount of traditional kind of pick and like high drop type of looks where they tried not to switch Mobley and Allen onto guards earlier in the game if they could avoid it. But Jared Allen, throughout the game at various points, a few times in the first half and then a bunch of times down the stretch, was switching onto Tyrese Haliburton in screening action. And that's where the difference is between Tyrese when he's at a near MVP level versus the guy that we saw for most of the end of last year when he wasn't very explosive. He's such a smart player that if you run drop coverage or traditional at the level coverage or any sort of traditional pick and roll coverage, he just passes the ball too well. You'll get picked apart as a passer. But if you can shut down those openings by switching, you could put the onus on Tyrese Haliburton to beat you as an isolation player. And when he had his hamstring injury, he just wasn't quick enough with that first step to like consistently beat people off the dribble and make some good stuff happen there. He beat Jared Allen on a switch 6 times in this game for either a bucket or a kick out to somebody else for a bucket. 3 times in crunch time. The sequence in crunch time hits a step back 3 at the top of the key, gets down into the painted area, and takes a dramatic step back up to the top, knocks it down. On the second one, on the switch, Donovan Mitchell follows Miles Turner down the lane as Miles Turner is rolling. So Haliburton's sitting against Allen up top on the switch. On the other side of the floor, DeAndre Hunter comes over to try to scram Donovan Mitchell out of the switch, meaning he's going over to Donovan and being like, you get out to my man over here on the wing. I think it was Nembhard. And I will take Miles Turner so that I can battle with him on the glass, meaning an interchange, right? So Mitchell's on Turner. DeAndre Hunter's coming over to scram him out of the switch. There's a little miscommunication. Donovan Mitchell's not paying attention. Donovan Mitchell had a Really bad game on both ends of the floor, in my opinion. We'll talk about that in a minute, but especially on defense. Donovan's not paying attention, so Nembhard's wide open. Just for a second, Nembhard's wide open. And Haliburton just throws the easy swing pass like he does every single time you make that kind of mistake, and Nembhard knocks down the three. And then he beats him to the basket. Takes a series of moves towards the right elbow against Jared Allen, and then beats him with a step-through moves and banks it in. And so, like, even when Cleveland took a lead and the game slowed down and they got into half court, Indy was able to reassert control just by being a better half court team than Cleveland was. And I thought Tyrese Haliburton was the best player in game one. I thought he pretty significantly outplayed Donovan Mitchell really on both ends of the floor. And like Indy just came in and threw a great punch. I thought as a team they were great defensively, making everything hard on Donovan Mitchell. I think it's going to be a pretty significant wake-up call for the Cavs on a bunch of levels. Like, if you're not familiar with what the Indiana Pacers do, what a great game one just as a crash course in what makes them such a scary team. And, like, Tyrese Haliburton's sneaky playing pretty close to that superstar level over the course of the last few games. And he's, like, cooking everybody in every which way. And he's got that offense humming at about as high a level as you'll see an offense operate in the NBA playoffs. Really impressive game one from Indiana. On the Cavs front, the attentiveness off ball is the big one. There are so many situations, especially in the early parts of the game, where Cleveland would their guy would give up the ball and they would go relocate to somewhere else on the floor. And you would see Cavs defenders off ball just relax. And when they relax, they just would get burned every single time with the pass. Simple example, there's a play where I think it was Nesmith. Nesmith's on the right wing, and I think he was being guarded by Max Strus was the guy guarding him, but I'm pretty sure it was Nesmith on the right wing. And Haliburton gets Jared Allen on a switch, and he's dancing with the ball. And Max Strus just relaxes, and he kind of like sits back down towards the left elbow, like 10 feet off of Nesmith. Not even helping on the drive. Jared Allen's not even compromised. Just easy swing pass over to the right wing. There's a wide open catch and shoot three from Nesmith that he knocks down. And it's like, I know Max Strus can be a better, more attentive defender. He lost Aaron Nesmith on the first possession of the game. Same sort of thing. Sinking into nail help, staring over at the ball at Tyrese Haliburton, swing pass. Nesmith beats him off the dribble, attacking a closeout and gets a little banking. Him, DeAndre Hunter, Jared Allen lost Pascal Siakam a bunch of times early in the game. Like, they're just, as a team, they need to really be more mentally engaged defensively off the ball. Against this Indiana Pacers team, you cannot make those types of mistakes. You will get burned. And then Donovan Mitchell, I thought he just did a really poor job of managing that game. He tried to solve all of his problems by scoring. I rewatched the entire game during the Warriors game, and I rewatched every single Cavs offensive possession. And there are just a lot of situations where Donovan's getting into the middle of the floor, and there are kick-out opportunities there, and he's not taking them. He's taking contested floaters and step-throughs and euros and things along those lines, and he ends up taking 30 shots to get to, the 30 whatever points that he had in the game. Is super inefficient. He burned out all of his energy so that he had nothing for the defensive end of the floor and was getting cooked in a bunch of different ways on that end. Like, I just thought he tried to solve all of his problems by scoring, and I thought it was a mistake. Remember, Cleveland is at their best when the ball is popping around. They are a team that can generate a lot more in the way of catch and shoot threes than they demonstrated today. They played an old fashioned Cavs game from years past as a shot creation team, and I thought they came down to Donovan Mitchell. I thought he got outplayed by Tyrese Haliburton tonight pretty substantially. And like, here's the thing: the Garland news is pretty sketchy. We're hearing that his foot is a lot more serious than we thought. Obviously, I thought he was going to play today. He didn't play today. That's going to be a factor in this series. But even if Darius Garland isn't at 100%, he should be able to help the flow of this offense. He should be able to at least like get the ball moving from side to side a little bit more. So even if he's not ready to go like at the level he was earlier in the season, I think getting him out there will be super helpful. And my guess is that we end up seeing him in game two. But if they have to go without game two, it's about the management of the flow of the game for Donovan. And what that means is like, he's going to have to shoot more than he typically does. Like, you probably want him around 22, 24 shot attempts in a situation like this with Garland out, but he needs to make a lot more swing passes, a lot more kick out passes on the drive, understanding that even if he has an opportunity to take a semi-contested shot in the lane, it's about taking it easy on his legs. It's about getting the rhythm of his teammates going. It's about the engine of the offense. Again, Tyrese Haliburton didn't have a massive scoring night tonight, but the Pacers scored 1,000,000 points, and it was based on his advantage creation. That's the game flow piece of it. It's about understanding these little bits and pieces of time. Like, here's a little 3-minute stretch where, like, I really need to be looking to score the ball. Here's a stretch of the game where we got a lot of offensive talent on the court. I would actually be better served making these sort of kick-out passes. Like, there was a stretch where Isaac Okoro was on the floor with him for a while, and it's like, I can kind of see why on some of those he's not kicking to Isaac. He's looking to be aggressive. But, like, there are a lot of situations where Sam Merrill or Dean Wade are, like, standing in catch-and-shoot situations, and the ball's just not getting sprayed around because Donovan's trying to smash his head through a brick wall instead of taking the easy stuff that's available for him. So, in short, Indiana threw their best punch tonight, and the Cavs threw a really shitty one. I think the Cavs can play a hell of a lot better. But I also, as I mentioned in the series preview, I predicted Cavs in 6 in large part because I do think the Pacers will have extended stretch of the series where they look really good. And they definitely showed that in game 1. And here's the thing. If Darius Garland isn't going to be ready, or if he's going to be far from 100%, this instantly becomes much more of a coin flip type of series that the Pacers absolutely can win.